Good evening, this is Jason Scott. It's 9:05 Central Time and 10:05 on the East Coast. And we're looking at subtropical Beryl, and we're looking at satellite imagery now. It appears from this evening compared to what we've seen this afternoon, the storm is beginning to get some convective activity around the center, which is kind of concerning because once this wraps around the center, which is located about right in here, it could begin to switch over to a more of tropical storm that we normally would see during the hurricane season. So, in other words, when you have convective activity around, that's what feeds the storm and fuels the storm and makes it more intense. It has increased intensity this evening. The latest report from the National Hurricane Center showing the winds have increased from 45 to 50 miles per hour from the 5 o'clock report. But the 8 o'clock report has came in and it is now showing that the winds have increased just a bit. Could be that some of this convective activity that's beginning to rotate around the center of circulation could have something. There's an area of high pressure. We'll go over that in just a moment. It's north of the system, pushing it down to the southwest. Here's the overall weather map showing you the subtropical jet. You see the area of high pressure north of Beryl, and it is pressing the system down to the southwest into the Florida, northwest Florida, and into Georgia. Here is the consensus of the tracks, and they're all pretty much in the same agreements, showing that it's going to be moving into northeast Florida or the Georgia coast, then curve back into the open Atlantic and pushes it far out in the ocean, but it's going to be a slow movement once it gets inland. Currently, this is the 5 o'clock position. It was at 31.5 north, 76.6 west. Winds at that time was 45. It's now 50 miles per hour. Movement was to the southwest at 6 miles per hour. And as you can see, it's expected to be a tropical storm at 2 p.m. Still offshore, and then on Monday he's expected to move inland of Florida and then be downgraded to a tropical depression, and once it gets back out over water off the coast of North Carolina, it could regenerate back into a tropical storm on Wednesday at 2 p.m. and on Thursday at 2 p.m. still expected to be a tropical storm at that point, and moving out into the open Atlantic. Here's the tropical storm warnings that's in effect. It's in effect for southeast Georgia, northeast Florida coast, and the adjacent coastal waters. Inland counties also is listed here. The tropical storm watch is in effect as well for parts of the Florida and Georgia area. Flash flood watches are also in effect for this region. Here's the local watches and warnings, a better briefing. It's showing that tropical storm warnings where winds will exceed around 35 to 45 miles per hour with gusts to 55. Rainfall amounts 3 to 6 inches when the storm moves in. That's in the warning area. The watch area is 25 to 35, gusts to 45, and rainfall amounts 3 to 5 inches, and that's in the orange area. And you see the red is where the tropical storm warning is in effect. Here's tonight's forecast for the region in Florida. It's showing that there is pretty much not that much of weather event going on tonight. There is scattered showers and thunderstorms in the area, 20% chance. Mainly the main concern is the high risk currents that's offshore. On Sunday begins to change. The weather begins to deteriorate quite a bit. Locally heavy rainfalls, increasing winds throughout the day. Tropical storm conditions are expected. Heavy rains and windy around 9 p.m. especially as the storm begins to approach the coastal areas. On Memorial Day, the system is going to be around 2 a.m. moving slowly but surely inland from 2 a.m. to you see 8 a.m. the next day and at 8 p.m. So it's a gradual move. A lot of windy conditions expected in this area here, especially because there is that high pressure which is north of it, and that also causes the pressure gradient, makes the winds pretty gusty. And the summary, this is the impacts: the wind, the storm surge, and the rainfall. With the winds, it looks like the biggest threat of winds will be mainly small objects, trash cans and small debris that's blown around. Anywhere around 40 to 50 miles per hour is expected along the Atlantic coast. By midday on Sunday, the strongest winds in the impact the coast, the regions mainly over southeast part of Georgia, including the Turtle River, intercoastal waterways, St. Johns River Basin. Also, storm surge is not expected. Water will rise about 1 to 3 feet. It can be expected along and north of where the storm makes landfall. Rainfall amount is a concern because they're expecting anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain beginning on Sunday midday along the coast and lasting throughout the day on Sunday and Monday. That is your latest on the tropics for this evening on Barrel. We'll keep you posted with the latest. Starting Sunday morning, we'll have another briefing in the morning. Thanks for joining us. Have a good afternoon or evening.